All right, then, people. Welcome to another episode of Creative Always Be. This episode is called Creative Always Be Taking Photos Around the World. Mike, a musician turned photographer, uses creativity to develop his eye and create some amazing shots. He lived in Japan and worked as a photographer, capturing some stunning photos of the season. Now moved to Canada, he's still on his creative journey. We'll be talking about his work in Japan as a photographer, the language barrier, and how he overcome it. Let's check out some of his photos. Bad, them bad, them bad, them bad, them bad. But without further ado, let me talk to the guests. Wagwan, Mike, wagwan, brother.
Boy, I'm there now, youth.
You're there, you're there.
Yeah, man.
You see, you're there in the building.
Now the building.
You're in the building, me I tell the man. Say, yo, brother, people, I'm telling you,
Mm.
brother, yeah, we have some history, you know, me and him kind of,
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
man.
for the man there at Jamaica, we usually link up and world some reason and stuff like that. We never really, make the link fall. Even the man there all the way at Japan, we still make sure, say, yo, we always are communicating
Always a
and work
make you
vibes. Same way, so.
Yeah, man.
Now the man there
Mm.
Canada, the same thing, you see me? So,
Yeah, man.
Wagwan, brother, me the people them know, say, yo, you know what I mean? I just I showed them a reel a while ago and basically I go through some of your photographers them your photos them and photos them bad, no doubt, no doubt. So my
Yeah,
my
man.
question my question to you is how did you get started as a photographer basically? Make the people them understand that.
Well, I think I would start where the interest started for photography, and the interest for photography started like when I was probably 9, 10 years old. I got like a film camera. I would just take photos for like the entire week, and by the weekend, I would just send the film to my aunt that was working at a photography studio, and she would just develop that for me and I send it back. And this was a continuous thing, like every week. So at the end, and this was like when I was in elementary school or primary school. So by the time I went to high school, I had like stocks of physical photos in boxes and stuff piling up. And when I went through all of that and went to college and I was studying music, I was supposed to do an elective in photography, but I'm final year, get lazy and just want to focus on the music. And at that point, I just got a, my very first digital camera, which was a Fuji. And I started taking photos around campus at the time, and I would cover the events, the parties, and all of that that's happening around. But I wanted to go to the US to work, so get some money to go back to school. So I end up selling the camera. You know what I mean? So to sell the camera, go for it, and do what me I do. And at the end of the day, I come back, I never buy a camera. So from that point, I lost the sight or the vision of continuing to do photography. No, I think it was like 4 to 5 years later, I my girlfriend, no, my wife, she lived in an high-rise apartment, and I was seeing some amazing shots. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go online and find a nice zoom camera from Walmart and get some amazing zoom shots from from the location, and that kind of spark the interest again. And from that point until now, I never look back. I just keep going forward, and I just keep learning, teaching myself, trying to find all these new things that people are interested in their photography, mostly for portraits. But one of the biggest move, differently still Shango, I will me link up with you.
Real talk.
When we link up with Shango and see how he was actually, you know, taking over the market in event photography, and he was the main street name right there in Jamaica. And I started doing lots of events and such alongside him, and it just gave me more vision and more drive to do what I wanted to do. You understand? So from, I would say, professionally, from that point where we link up, that's where I really started that professional journey of my photography career.
Mad vibes, and I'm glad to hear that. Say, there's some form of inspiration. You know what I mean? That you were
Mm-hmm.
inspired by my journey as a photographer. If you
Mm-hmm.
push your journey even further, because I must say, like, what I see you doing with your photos, and even right now me I look at some of the photos them on the Instagram page, and they are amazing, bro. Like, and on the normal stuff, like even the depth of field that I'm
Yeah,
looking at,
man.
like sometimes even wonder how you get this depth of field, because I know you don't really have that 10,000 US dollar lens there. You know that lens there? That 10,000 US
Exactly.
dollar lens there. That 200 millimeter two f2 lens there. But your depth
Hmm.
of field look like that. So my thing is, how do you get that level of depth of field without having to spend this 200 to 100 10,000 US dollar on a lens? Or you get that depth of field? What are you using? What techniques are you using to create that depth of field that I'm seeing in your photos?
Well, all right. First of all, you have to understand how depth of field works, and see from you understand how that works, which has to do with the aperture, and it has to do with the focal length. Understand? And the distance from the subject, and all that combination can give you something amazing. Understand? So, um, my favorite portrait lens was the 70 to 200 f2.8, right? And I shot that, but that was a big and heavy lens. So I found the Sigma 85 1.4. So so we can work more wide, and we can make everything butter smooth. So that is my go-to lens. 95% of the time, that's on my camera, and that would produce um, all the depth of field I would need to make the photos them look the way that they are looking. Yeah.
Okay, so I just say, oh, go for that 200 millimeters. You say that long
Mm.
focal length. You basically use a shorter focal length, but a better lens in terms of f-stop 1.4,
Yeah.
1.4, which actually create the depth of field. It was a sigma, right? Because me I look
Yeah,
on
it's a
your,
Sigma.
yeah, me I look on your
Yeah, man.
bokeh, and the bokeh is, it look real sharp and nice, and the circles
Yeah.
them is real, like it's proper bokeh we are talking about. So is the 1.4. How do you manage? Like, what type of camera are you using to get some of these shots? But I'm looking at one right here. Let me switch to it. I'm looking at one right here where you have a child. Let me try and bring it up. Let me have some trouble. Let me bring it up and go back to basically a show reel. You have this child basically. She's is she walking or she was just standing? How do you keep her so sharp while she walking? And explain that to me in terms of when you're trying to capture
Why
photos, movement photos, so to speak?
that session was one of the most difficult session I've ever done. Hey, she was 2 years old, and to photograph a 2 year old, they're not gonna stay still. You know, they're continuously moving. So at the start of the session, I was trying to get her to, do what I want her to do, and I quickly found out that that wasn't working. So I quickly just slap on the 70 to 200 2.8, and I'm using a full frame camera, and that also helps with the depth of field versus the crop sensor, right? So chances are that photo, she wasn't standing still, she was walking. So I had to take a series of shots and then draw that particular one out when she actually turned.
Okay.
Understand? So that particular shot, maybe I was at 200 millimeters. I was on my stomach, right?
Oh,
Shooting.
oh, no.
Yeah, I was rolling all over. If you were in that park and saw me, I was like diving on the ground, rolling, trying to get all the shots, and she's moving. You understand? So, and it wasn't at f2. It was probably at f4.
Okay.
Was probably at f4 when I shot them, because the compression of the 200 millimeter
Yeah,
distance
yeah.
and the full frame capability and all that, it makes it look like that. And then the background also play a part. Depending on how far the background is, it makes it even
Yes.
better.
And as I speak about that, let's talk about this one, because this one is, it is so amazing that I have to talk about it. This one. Let's talk about this one. This one is like, it just, she is floating off the background, and I can see say snow behind her, and you know what I mean. Even the colors, like, let's talk about colors a little bit. Like, how do you get these colors that just pop like that from your photos? Let's talk about
All
that a
right,
little bit.
colors. So when I found out how colors work, you have to have um proper lighting. So when you have the proper lighting, it will make the colors pop. You understand? So that was the secret behind that. And then after you get that balanced color lighting on the subject, you have to have the vision for how you want the photos to look. So I didn't have any clue at the end of the day how the end product would look. But when I sat there and I started editing, it does, like the vision is open, clear, and I say, I want the background to look like this, and I want her to have this glow to her. I want to have, you know what I mean? And I started putting even the dodging and burning to different parts on the skin or the hair or wherever I want it to be to stand out, to help with that nice crisp pop of color and sharpness.
Nice, nice, nice,
But
nice.
that particular photo or session, I the like they have the Lightroom Photoshop group on Facebook with like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and
Yeah.
even the art one. When I put that photo in, there was this huge discussion to say that I Photoshop her in the background. I'm like, dude, you guys don't know anything.
They don't know the
Not
power of depth
Photoshop.
of field, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. It's like, but I said the people them take me on. I had to screenshot my Lightroom with every single photo at the bottom to show them, say, yo, this is not Photoshop. You understand?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
certain techniques they use to achieve certain things like that.
Definitely, definitely. Let's speak a little bit about this one, because this seems as if it's a drone shot.
Yeah,
You can't
man.
fly.
But
You can't fly, so this must be a drone shot.
yeah,
Unless
man.
you have this big heavy, you have this ladder where you can go way up in the sky, and you can go up on
Definitely
the ladder
not.
without we seeing the ladder, and the ladder can
Yeah.
float over water. You can't fly. So let's
It's
talk
not
about
gonna work.
drone photography a little bit, and how do you use your drone to capture photos and then edit them so that they can have the same energy or the same feel and vibes as using basically a camera.
Okay, all right. So drone photography, it's a bit tricky because seeing that perspective from above kind of changes things. You understand? So you can't take it, you can approach it like how you're taking with a normal camera. All right. So that particular shot, I used the DJI Mavic Pro, and I accidentally found out while doing a session that the quality that comes from that Pro is pretty good for portrait photography in that regard. So I when that young lady contacted me, she's a graduation shoot, and she said to me, I wanted something different. So I right out of the bat, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna pop some drone in it, and the image quality that comes from the DJI Maverick Pro is sufficient, and it has also has the raw capability for me to do all that editing and to make the colors pop as well. You understand? And it doing drone photography, the the positioning of the drone is also crucial. You get certain, like I've done some shots and some people look at it and say the person look like them dead. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I understand what I'm gonna say, but you have to understand the perspective. If the person would just stand up and look straight at you, there's nothing you can see but them face, and that not appealing. So it's a completely different perspective of how you're gonna view things compared to your normal camera DSLR.
Let's speak about you coming to Jamaica. Like when you were basically, I think you were in America, or you were, I don't know if you were in Japan as yet. But let's speak about you coming to Jamaica basically to capture some photos like these from time to time. Like when you come to Jamaica and you capture photos like these, like, because I think
Hmm.
this was what, Elsha, one of them? When
That was Portmore, right behind the fishing village,
fishing village. So let's talk
right at
about
the
the
causeway.
series of photos that when you come to Jamaica after your journey, or when you're in Jamaica, you capture.
Hmm.
Like I see, there's this photo, and I see a couple photos like this photo.
That one too. Hmm.
Yeah, I see a couple photos. Like when I go back,
That one or two, that one third. You pass it.
yeah, I see this photo also because I know her.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm trying to find. Yeah, this, I think this is also from Jamaica.
Yeah. Downtown.
That is one third.
Hmm.
I'm trying to find, yeah, this.
Yeah.
So this is from Jamaica. So let's talk about these photos that when you come back to Jamaica, you try and capture them. I see you as a photographer who, when you travel the world, you always have your camera, and you basically
Hmm.
always try and capture some form of content from the scene. So
Hmm.
let's talk about you when you come back to Jamaica. Why it is so important to you to make sure that you capture some of your friends or people who you know, or even just talent. You make sure that you capture that and get some photos. Let's speak about that a little bit.
All right. So being away from Jamaica, I really realized that that country is one beautiful place. You know what I mean? And being in Japan, and you just to see how other photographers move, or persons, appreciate nature. It really opens my eye to something new. So while I was there, and now I start seeing all these beautiful places in Jamaica, and I'm really missing all of that. I wanted to just, when I visit, I wanted to just get some some models, and I would just wanted to go to some exotic locations there, and just to create something super. You understand? So I would just call up my brethren and say, "Yo, today in a Portmore, we could meet up over here and get some shots." And say, "Yeah, man. What before we let's put on some clothes, man, and forward, and we just get it done." Or we just link up some young ladies, or see them and ask them about it and them interested, and we just go and we shoot. It's just all a vibe, you know what I mean? And we just want to just travel, like example, if we go to Blue Hole, or we go Negril, or all them places here, Blue Lagoon. just want to capture all that beauty that Jamaica really have, but I want to put a model in that. You know what I mean? Because the vision what I had when I came to Jamaica last time, was to go to every single parish and do a session. Just find that exotic location, get some models, shoot in that location, and just create a series of behind the scene videos showing people or even educate people on certain techniques. You know what I mean? So coming to Jamaica is just all about the beauty that's there. And I just want to put a model in that scenery for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad to speak, and I'm glad to we touch on Japan a little bit. So let's speak about Japan overall and the photography scene. While you were in Japan, I realized that you capture a whole heap beautiful scenes. This is one, another snow scene. You always capture the different seasons also. Like,
Yeah,
I've been scrolling through to see if I can find some of them. Like,
that
this
was
is our next one.
hmm
I think, but this
that,
seems like it's more than the cold time. But you always capture some scene from some.
that one too. Even the water, all them they are past of Japan.
Yeah, yeah, I realize. But what I'm saying is that all I'm seeing now is more mainly the snow time because I can see it from stuff. I usually see somewhere you capture where it's like it's autumn or it's this is Japan too.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so this is a
That's
different
spring
season.
going into summer. Yeah,
Yeah, so
spring going
my
to
thing is
summer.
that speak about that, and I mean you having gone to Japan, and as I say, oh, you get to appreciate the different seasons and all
Mm.
of that. Speak about I mean, like why you capture the way or you capture even now as a photographer, not living in Japan anymore, but I mean, you still kind of capture like this even in Canada with all of the changing of the season.
All right. So before going to Japan, I've never experienced the seasons like how I actually did in Japan. So I was really amazed by how distinct each season was. You understand? So you don't have to ask any question when the season come in, what season is. So I was really, really drawn to that. And in Japan, it seems like every season came with something unique. And each one of those things I wanted to capture. Understand? So they have crazy different flowers there that it pops up at different season. And I just hunt them each summer, and I just want to get a model in that, or I just do my normal landscape stuff. Now, um, Japan is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. You understand? And where I was, it had crazy amount of snow, and people like a lot of you're seeing a lot of the snow shots that I did. I was working with a company out of Indonesia, a photography company that do like tours, right? And I would take the visitors or tourists to some exotic location just to photograph them. Understand? So they would come in a lot. Sometimes I have like three different families per day and whatever it may be, and I have to take them to the best spots to give them the best experience. Understand? But a lot of them come there for winter because in their country, probably in Indonesia or China, whatever, they don't have that much snow, or the snow is not that beautiful, or the different historic sites in Japan. When the snow is there, it just brings an entire different feel. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What was that a part of the question?
Um, uh, I even remember the other part of the question, but no worry about it too much. Don't worry about the question too much. I just say yo, there are a lot of historic sites in Japan
Yeah.
in terms of even the snow, and I just say yo, like looking through the photos, it's a different level. It's a different level. Even this one, let me bring it up. Even this one, which is
Ah,
is you know what I mean. Even though it's a Japanese looking families and Asian looking family, I am not sure if they are from Japan, but
no.
you can see the beauty. This what this remind me of is when I went to Matterhorn Mountain in Switzerland, where
Hmm.
when you look over the Everglades and when you look upon the snow, you're like, wow, this is
Hmm.
amazing. So it's a joy to know that people are actually coming to these locations to just get this energy and these vibes. I realize that you also do wedding photography. So
Hmm.
portrait and wedding photography, I realize, almost have this close link. A lot of persons
Yep.
who are portrait photographer tends to basically dabble in wedding also. You have, some who don't, but it's why is that so? The persons who are portrait photographer dabble in wedding. Why you believe that is so?
Ah, why they touch it? Most of the time because you do portrait photography, and wedding is about portrait. So you tend to believe that you can manage to do the wedding or do a wedding um, at any point, but it's tricky because it's an event. It's an event, even though it has to do with portrait. So if you don't know how to deal with an event, but you know how to take portraits, then you're in a problem.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
understand?
yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
a combination of two. So a lot of persons will try it, and when them try it, them say, "What? This rough, 10 hours, 12 hours on them feet, and like we can't manage this. More than have to do a 1 hour session or 2 hour session." So for me, I do portraits, but I also do lots of event photography.
Yeah,
So when
yeah,
I was
because
running the streets
Jamaica, you
with
know
you,
Jamaica's thing, event photography we do. So because we don't have
yeah,
that event photography experience, being a portrait
hmm,
photographer, you still understand that a wedding is an event where you do a lot of portraits, basically.
yeah,
So that
exactly,
allows you to basically manage a person who, just as I say, are used to the two session, them
hmm,
can do a wedding because wedding is very hectic. It's very moving, very demanding, and it take a lot of time. As I say, a lot of time you pay your foot. Sometimes if the persons who are keeping the wedding not considerate, you don't even get no food. If them not
yeah,
think too much about the photographer, you know what I mean? So it's a very demanding thing, and maybe that's the reason why
yeah.
it's not that I couldn't do weddings, but I never got into weddings.
Yeah, so you have to have like in like in case you're talking like a lot of the even the bride and groom or the wedding planner and stuff, they forgot about the photographers for like food or whatever. You know what I mean? We're there too. We're there for 12 hours, 10 hours. That's why we have contracts. So we put all this information in the contract so the couple will know that hey, we're a part of the wedding and we also need time to do this and we'd like to get it done in this time so we're available to do this in that time. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of you have to organize yourself when you're doing weddings also, or it's going to be very stressful.
So what may I hear from you is that you also put in your contract that I need to
Yeah,
get food. You can't have me at
exactly.
the wedding and I don't eat.
Exactly. Because if I'm at the wedding and you're not going to provide food for me, so we have like I think I have like any wedding over 4 hours or so. You understand? You have to make sure you provide food for the photographer. If you are not going to provide food for the photographer, we would have to take like a 45-minute break and we're allowed to leave the wedding and come back. You
Mad, mad,
understand?
mad, mad.
Because we're constantly up and down shooting. We're not resting. We have to be watching everything because lots of stuff are on the fly. You know what I mean? And we have to make sure our energy is up and we have to keep going. And even at that point when we're taking our breaks, we don't take it all at once. Maybe one or two person go, and then the other person would continue shooting and catching any spontaneous moments or anything that's happening. You know what I mean? So you have to organize yourself just to make sure that the clients get a good experience and you have a good day and that makes everything good.
That's an important thing to put the food in your contract. So a
Yeah,
person once you get a
that
contract, you will know
yeah,
if them never read the contract, them just sign because you will like so where is the food? Ooh, you know what I mean?
yeah.
That
So
that's
once
one of
they
the
know
worst
this,
thing as a photographer you can ever do. Even
yeah,
sometimes as an event photographer in Jamaica, you'll go to an event and them don't have no
mhm,
table for the photographers where you can get some food.
exactly.
I'm like, yo, we there here too, you know.
Yeah, yeah. We're there, and we're there for long hours. So we need to get something, not because of food. I know things say, boy, people think say belly long or whatever. No, it's just certain protocols. You know what I mean? You can't just shoot for 12 hours and don't eat anything. That doesn't make any sense. Then you won't be effective.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
definitely have to have that.
You definitely have to replenish yourself and eat some food.
Yeah, man,
Um
even as a photographer, you have to make sure, like everything I do, every time I shoot my camera, a contract is signed. It has to
mm,
be signed. Yeah.
so in other words, what you're saying is that if the person if you don't get the contract from the person, say, yo, Larry, then we agreed to X, Y, and Z, you don't do no
hmm
photography. None
No,
whatsoever.
no, because at the end of the day, you understand, you are protecting yourself or your business, and you're also protecting the client to make sure the client get what you guys both agree to.
Alright.
And
Let's speak about that for a second. Speak about
mhm,
contracts as it relate
yeah,
to a photographer and the rights of the photos, because a lot of persons don't know that no matter how much money a person pays you to
hmm
do photography for them could have pay $1 million. The rights
hmm
of the photos are reserved to
hmm
the photographer,
at
regardless
all times.
how much money them pay you. Like you probably
hmm
could write up a contract, which means you
hmm
could give them the right, but that would be you selling yourself short. Let's speak about that though, as a photographer who understand contracts and stuff like that. Let's speak
hmm
about the rights and the contract.
Yeah. So when say a client contact you and they say, hey, I want to do a birthday photo session, right? What's your cost? And I'm like, well, it's the cost is this. Okay, all right. And this is the package and everything. All right. So we agree we're gonna do it on this day and at this time. Okay, that sounds good. Now I would continue saying, all right, so we need to start the booking process. And the booking process, you have to sign a contract, you have to do your you have to make your retainer. You have to pay your retainer fee or deposit. People call it deposit too, but is the terminology that's best used is retainer fee.
Yeah,
Understand? So you have
retain
to
it
pay
so the
that retainer
time.
fee.
Yeah.
Yep. So you block off that time that they want to do their session. Understand? And once they do all of that, it seal the contract, and that retainer is non-refundable. And you make all that clear in your contract. You understand? Now, when you take a photo, I don't know about other persons, but in my camera, when I take a photo, it automatically write the copyright in the file, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even
yeah.
when you go through
Most photo cameras can do that, but not everybody do that. Some people write the
not everybody
copyright
set it
in
up.
Lightroom.
Yeah. So straight to the camera, mine just write straight to it. You know what I mean? So when you take a photo, that photo belongs to the photographer, right? Not the client. The contract that you guys agreed to is they are buying rights to the photos that you created. You understand? So they they're buying rights to use the photo, which are private, because then you have the commercial side and you have the private side. So this would be a private thing. So you use for your private use, whether you want to put it in your home or you want to put it on your Facebook page or Instagram or whatever. Understand? That's the agreement. But if that person now take that photo and say they sell it on a stock photo website, or they're starting to use it for promotional purposes on in a newspaper or ad or whatever. That's a breach of contract. They didn't buy rights for commercial use. They bought rights for private use. So there's a complete different thing right there. And I also heard when you mentioned like a photographer selling themselves short, because you can also do a session, right, for a client, and they say they want all the rights to the photo, right? And you guys agree and sign to that. That means they take the right from you because you sign it over to them. And normally that means lots more money.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
understand?
yeah. Them have to come with
So
lots
yeah,
of
lots
money
more
to
money
actually do
because
that.
then yeah. So you have to be careful with private contracts versus commercial
Commercial
contracts.
contract. Now let's
Hmm.
speak a little bit about commercial contract. So, for instance, a
Hmm.
person, as I say, oh, you do a private session with them. You do a private
Yeah,
headshot session with them.
yeah,
The original contract was a private contract. They were gonna
yeah,
use these in their house, XYZ, la la la.
yeah, yeah.
Then you start see these photos on billboard. You see these photos on advertisement on TV.
Hmm.
You start see all these things. Like, let's speak about how do one go about, so to speak, dealing with a situation like that, dealing with the situation as it relates to, oh, these photos have a certain rights and you signed a contract for this. How do you deal
Yeah.
with such a situation if you were to be in a such a situation?
All right. So I've never been into that situation before, but in that situation, your contract will speak for you. You understand? Because in the contract, it will say this is for private use only. You understand? So when they see that, so no ads, no marketing, nothing. Private use only. All right. When I do edge shots, all right, when I do edge shots, that's a commercial session, right? Now, when I deliver the photos to the clients, they get what we call a print release. Understand? That's release giving the client permission to print the photos. So if it's a private, we say that you are able to print this photo for your private use only, and it's not supposed to be used for commercial or any business adventure, right? But when it comes to the headshot, it's for business. They get the license to say, I can print this photo. I can use it for commercial and advertisement, anything commercial. They can do that. So at the end of the day, once I deliver my photos, you get a print release to state what you can do with the photos on top of the contract that you signed. So
Okay, so
to
basically,
answer your mhm.
no man,
to
continue.
answer your question, your contract will speak for yourself. The first thing I would do is to contact the individual, and let them know that there is a breach in the contract or the agreement that you guys signed, and these photos weren't supposed to be used for this purpose because you paid for this type of license. Understand? And you bring that to their attention. Now, if they're good persons, they will say, all right, sorry for that, and how can we deal with this? At that time, you have to now charge them for that commercial use because it's gone business now. So you have to charge them for that. If they're not good persons, and then you have a problem, then it's a breach of copyright, and then you just follow that procedure whichever way you want to go to get some form of financial compensation on that based on the contract that was signed.
All right, I just speak about that. Like, what is the difference in terms of the licensing, in terms of private use versus commercial use? What is the difference in terms of like value, in terms of cost? And I know this depending on your level as a photographer, where you are in
Mhm.
your career and stuff like that. But speak to that. Like, what would you consider, even with the place that you're working now and how you do your contracts? What
Mhm.
what is the difference? Is it a drastic difference between the regular one, which is basic license where private use, and a commercial license where you can use it almost on all your promotional aspect and everything?
All right. So, if I remember correctly, you have the private use, right? You have the commercial use, and then I think you have something called extended, um, extended licensing or something like commercial use. There's another one after that. That's one. That one is like you're selling products. So, example, I took a photo of you, and you're gonna. All right, no, you purchased one of my photos, and you want to use that photo on, say, uh, uh, a, a game or a bottle that you're selling, or any, and say an iPhone case, and you're going to use that photo on the branding of that product, and you're going to be selling that product. That's an extended license. That's a different payment from the commercial where you're going to do like an ad, or when you're marketing your business or yourself. You understand? So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
difference between the two. There's the one that you're actually making money by selling that product, and there's the one we use for advertising.
Also,
So
in
the
other words,
extended one,
what I'm hearing is
mhm,
that once your photos are used on a product that is being
yeah,
sold, it's a
yeah,
much different cost than when it's
yep,
used, for instance, in an advertisement, whereas it just come on 15
exactly,
seconds, it gone. But a
yeah,
product is
exactly,
physical, it's always there, it's gonna be there
hmm,
for probably years.
yep,
So you have to take all this into consideration, and that is how you price
yeah.
this thing, so to speak.
That license
Interesting.
is much more expensive. That license is much more expensive compared to a commercial and a private license.
Interesting,
So,
interesting. And
yeah.
the reason why I
Mhm,
want to speak a little bit about licensing and stuff like that, that thing not really happening in Jamaica. Barely. You have to reach at a
mhm,
certain level for you have conversation about licensing of your photos and stuff like that. With even corporate companies. Them know the right
mhm.
thing because when them work with international photographer, I say it work. But
Yeah.
most times when I work with Jamaicans, them tend not to want to treat the situation like that. You'll have a photo that you shot for them on an advertisement in their business
Yeah.
location, multiple location across Jamaica, and it's there for years, and you only get a one-time payment for your basically photography. Let's speak about
Hmm.
that in terms of contracts, and you're signing basically a yearly contract, and how a yearly contract helps a photographer to make money for years without having to do any further work on that work, so to speak. Once the work is being used, if it's used for year one, when year two come in, you gotta link them and say, yo, it's year two now. Where's the compensation? Let's speak to
Hmm.
that.
I don't think that, especially in Jamaica, I don't think after you sign that contract and they get the product, you're going to continuously. It's like paying royalty. You understand? It's like paying royalty for your work, and them sorry, them want it for 1 year, and after a year done, they may stop um advertising it, but the product is still out there on the road and it's still selling. You understand? And if that's the agreement, they should still be paying the photographer. But in Jamaica, me not really see it happen. Over here, so it's a different thing because first of all, you have the business, you have to make sure say you register and you have to pay tax. You know what I mean? And once you're doing all of those stuff, and there's any kind of copyright, because that will not breach that be a breach of contract. You understand? And the agreement is this is for a 1 year use only. And if you pass that 1 year, then it's a new contract or you're going to extend the contract, but you still have to pay for the use of the product that the photographer produced. But not gonna happen in Jamaica. Well, me not see that happen in Jamaica. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We know the Jamaican thing kind of weird. A lot of the photographers them no register. A lot of the photographers them no have
we can,
them thing all
they,
together. So you really can't
something
speak to contracts and lawyers and these things when they don't have these things. You know what I mean?
something
Like
happened to me. Something happened to me last year. With the last time I come to Jamaica, I make a video, make a video of some exotic locations in Jamaica. Lots of drone footage and stuff, and it have probably about 30,000 views from YouTube. Right? Somebody went and take it off and put a popular artist right now, Grammy winning artist right now, over it, and then send it out. My own, me there hear so, I may hear about people at Japan and link me, people at Jamaica link me, because I'm a daughter and wife there in the video. Understand? And and the person black out my logo, and there's nothing to attach the thing back to me. Understand? I mean, know that I come out of Jamaica. You understand? Me do what me need for do. You understand? But the people in Jamaica need to understand so they kind of stick a man content and just use it as they will. You never ask permission. Because if you ask permission, no kill you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
No
saw
kill
something
you,
like
man.
that happen with I think it's Alkaline. There is this
Mm-hmm.
girl, she's this popular girl online, and Alkaline, whoever designed for Alkaline, took her photos and used it. And then it was a big thing, big thing, you know what I mean? The girl come down, the photographer come down upon them, and they had to like this take it off and use something else. And you have to understand, so Jamaica works almost like like a bandula system. You know, as like a
Yep.
man feel like him kind of take things and use it, or him want to use it, and not
Yeah, because
understand
it's
that
out there.
depends on who for stuff you use, you'll come in a whole heap of trouble. You know what I mean? And maybe it's because of
Yep.
your things. Maybe if it was a different person, things the Grammy winning artist or whatever the case may be would have to fork up some money because the man wouldn't know one mega chatting. And there's some liar stuff would have come and this that rare and then them would have to pay one mega fees. So
Yep.
it's a thing where as I say because Jamaica is as them say third world and you know what I mean a whole heap of little almost bandula type vibes go on. A lot of people you know consider the things that can happen if you use somebody things and you know one credit them, two you know reach out to them and say yo you know give me the permission for use this. May the person say alright you wanna we can't make it use for free you know but give me that thing.
Because other persons use the video, but they contact me, get my permission, and when they produce whatever they're producing over it, they send me the link.
Yeah, yeah, them
And so,
also
so I can
make
see.
sure that you're credited in it.
Yeah, but none
Madness.
of that, and it is because it was independence. It was all over the place, all over the
Okay.
place. So that people are sending me the video every minute, every minute. I'm saying, yeah, I'm on my video. Now I try to work on the source, right? Understand? And it put me on me frame of mind. You know what I mean? So me I work so hard to create this thing, and you just take it and you just you know, and there's no accreditation for it, and you copy out my logo,
Yeah, yeah,
cover my
yeah.
logo. So why you really ask this?
Yeah, so
There's
all the
no.
effort where you put in a year work, a man just feel like him
Mhm.
kind of stick it and just use it or him will.
Yep,
That just wild out. That just wild.
and,
As I said,
and
these
that so.
conversations like it's crazy. It's crazy like having these conversations and speaking to various creatives and you know what I mean just all our vibes just all a
Mhm.
conversation is something that I really appreciate and you know what I mean just talking to individuals you other creatives just talking overall and sharing knowledge and sharing experience is something that I know it has a certain value a value that I appreciate. And if you can share information, even that encounter that you just shared, we never have a conversation about it, but
Hmm.
it's something that, you know what I mean, younger photographers and stuff like that have to look out. They have to look out for these things, because really and truly it can happen to anybody,
Hmm.
but you kind of have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare yourself. So if these things come your way, you kind of know how to deal with them, because I say it almost can't happen to anybody. It's more you have to prepare yourself to make sure that you not really go through, you know what I mean, the drama, because some of these things
Yeah,
are
and
drama as far as me
it's
can.
essentially equip yourself, with knowledge, knowledge just equip yourself for whatever you need, you know, to help you through whatever situation. It's like you're getting the experience through someone else, because they get the experience, they share the experience, and it's like you're getting the experience yourself, so you know how to go about dealing with certain things when it comes through.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's business, and you are trying to protect yourself at all time. Everybody are basically
Hmm.
trying to protect themselves, and if you don't understand how to protect yourself, then you can't protect yourself. You know what I say? So you first
Yeah,
have to
the
understand
people
how to protect
violate it,
yourself.
and people see your stuff. Like a lot of photographers, a lot of the times, photographers I follow or whatever, they they would say, hey, check out this person page, or report this person, because this person does take all their photos and create a new
Yeah,
page and promoting the page as their work. Take off their
yeah.
logo, cut them image, put on their logo, all them little thing there. You know what I mean?
That's
So
one of the hard
quite
one. Like,
tricky out there.
you have people who create a whole website around a next man photo. A
Yep.
whole website, and like them just pull all the man photo, create a whole website, and I say what them do it. And my thing about that is, how do you feel doing that? Because you cannot create this result. Obviously, like
Nope.
you have to take the
Nope.
man photos.
Nope.
So how do you sell
So,
something like that?
because I think what they do is they sell it. And you see that part where I talk about that non-refundable retainer or deposit.
Mm.
Once you pay that, they disappear. Because I remember, recently I was talking to someone and they say, "Hey, you do photography?" I say, "Yeah, I wanted to do a wedding for my friend, because my friend, um, she hired a photographer, paid a deposit, and since she paid the deposit, she haven't heard from the photographer, and she can't communicate at all with the photographer."
Oh, so them use your photos to get the people,
They were
and
you,
then when the people them
yeah,
pay them deposit, them just cut.
it disappear. So
Oh,
that's
mad,
one of
mad,
what
mad.
that's one of the root to that.
Okay, okay. Brother, Mike,
That's that.
boy,
Yo,
we could have talked for years. We could have talked for years to kind of dissect some of these
yeah,
things, but
man.
you know the time go already, and
Yeah, yeah,
time is of
yeah.
an essence, and the time I run out.
Hmm.
We're like 4 minutes out to the hour, and the
Yeah, man. The
conversation has
time,
happened. You realize the
yeah,
time just blew off.
it blew up fast, my head.
Yeah, man, it blew off fast. 1 hour is not a long time to speak about anything, especially things that you're passionate about. So,
Yeah,
brother,
man.
respect for come give me a strength on the show, and really
Yeah, man.
appreciate you
Anytime.
come giving your insight as a photographer who don't live in a Jamaica, and really appreciate that. So, as I say, yo, blessings for giving me a strength and everything. So, we're gonna run the outro before Instagram kick me off, cause Instagram sometimes kick me off. So, I'm gonna say, yo,
Yeah, them
thanks
have a
again.
timer thing around.
Yeah, thanks again. Cause for them time are running out, so we have to
Yeah,
basically just keep within the time. So I'm gonna say respect again, and
yeah,
blessings
man.
and guidance for the continuous journey as a photographer
Yeah,
and a
man.
creative overall. Yeah. So we're gonna leave without dropping a quote, and the quote this week is: "Happiness is not something ready-made; it comes from your action." Dalai Lama. I don't know what. Well, that I think that is 15. Dalai Lama 15. Happiness. What this quote basically I speak to is that your happiness is made by you. Happiness don't just happen to you. It's made by you. You know what I mean? It comes from your actions. So the things that you are doing, all of your actions and inactions have a lot to do with your happiness. So happiness is not something ready made. It comes from your own actions. Dalai Lama 15. That was another episode of